Welcome to Archangel Revelation and Prophecies 444. I'm Gat, your host. The Natal Chart you're looking at is a user, but they had specialized questions. I've done the Natal Chart a few times. So in this particular video, they have specialized questions. And I did spend most of the day looking into it. So bear with me. It's a lot of information I had to condense because, like I said, we had to really specialize on the questions he asked. So give me a moment. All right. So like I said, we'll be taking our time. What I like to do is one thing. His Chinese zodiac sign is the monkey. Those are people born 1992. And a good mate for him would be somebody born 1996 or 1984. It also says 2008, but she would only be 11 years old. So anything 1984, 1996, if he wanted to go a little older, 1972, 1960, something like that. But it would be the rat. That would be the Chinese zodiac. That would be good for him, according to Chinese astrology. Now, like I said, it will be a lot of information, so people may take notes, and the good thing about having a video, you can listen to it again. And then the monkey is sharp, smart, and very curious. And it's funny because they knew it was a water sign too. That impressed me, because his sun sign, as you can see, is Pisces. Now the rat is quick-witted, resourceful, versatile, and kind. Because we will be going over that, because he did ask about that. I believe he did. We'll be looking over his questions. We'll be going over that. And that's why I said it'll be taking notes. But I just like to go slow, because I'm really methodical, because I learned a lot of times you miss things. And I know, some people aren't like that, but then they make a lot of mistakes sometimes too. And sometimes, like I said, you might go over information that they may not need right away or whatever, but it's one of those things. Alright, so that was the first thing I wanted to do, was the Chinese astrology, because I have a lot of browsers open. Like I said, I did a lot of research. Now, he didn't ask for it, but she has an Aries moon and conjunct Mercury. In the 8th house. So that's interesting. And at 21 minutes, that 21 is a karmic. So a lot of things are in the 8th house. I'm pretty sure he has a free report, because Aries is in the 8th house. So that could be, just have to be careful not jumping into things, or even how we speak. Because with a moon Aries, is somebody that might fly off the handle or just jump into things without thinking. And then even you got the Mercury right there. That would only make matters worse because now you're talking. Like if you ever watch YouTube, like people at Walmart or something, because it escalates because somebody just keeps talking. Somebody just keeps talking, and then finally they start fighting. So when you have a moon Aries, that's kind of like how that is, because they may not want to let it go. And even at 1 degree is a magician, so he's always talking. But he has the universal gift, authority to bring into reality what he's saying and what he's thinking, what he's doing. And so he has that in the moon that he'll be able to take what's hidden subconsciously or not perceived by everybody or in the dark and bring it out. So he really has the 1 degree is a magician card. That's Mercury energy. And then he has Mercury there. So he really has a connection to Thoth and Hermes and Mercury. But it's all coming out that 8th house. And just have to be careful of the Aries aggression. See, if you look at his 8th house, it's a lot of 3s and 1s. Because 21 is still 3. So the third card of the tarot is the Empress card, which is Venus. And the first card of the tarot is the Magician card. So even here you see the Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine. But you just have to be careful of the Aries. Very volatile. That house is very watery. That 8th house is very volatile. And that's why I said it's just like going to Walmart and all hell break loose. Like you be somewhere and you don't even know how you got into no fight. You know what I'm saying? You just be Walmart was known for that. Brawling. You just went there to get some socks and now you talking to police, they got you handcuffed in the back. You know what I'm saying? You was just going to get some socks and now somebody done sucker punch you on some sucker stuff. Now you fighting and now you in a police car. So that is connotation. So he has to be mindful of that. Because a lot of people have something going on internal and they'll figure since it's internal, they don't have to worry about it. I ain't bothering nobody. Ain't nobody perfect. But that's dangerous. This is extremely dangerous. From saying things that could hurt feelings or worse. Or incite. And just Aries and watery Scorpio, which is all about power struggles and intensity. And when you look at this chart, you see a nice amount of 3s and variations of 3s, like 21 and 12. And the Empress is the number 3 card. Tarot card is the Empress, and she connects with Venus. All right. So sun sign Pisces, and that's his relationship, which we will be talking about. That's in the 7th house. So this is gonna be like a spiritual type relationship. But you see, they were saying he's like a really nice guy, and unfortunately, you got to be very careful because what happens with Venus in relationships, you can give too much, and I've learned that nothing's perfect in third dimensional. So you have to learn how to be there, but not so much that the person don't appreciate you anyway. Because most people think, if I really go out my way, show her I think she's special, do the poetry, really go out my way, that, she'll know she has a good guy and everything, she'll be with me. But it's just the opposite. It's almost like they almost reject you. And guys do the same thing because it's just human nature. You take a person for granted. So that's important because I think one of your questions was about relationships, which we will get to it. But so in your seventh house, you definitely want to not be, because Pisces sacrifices itself. Pisces sacrifices itself to help others. So you can't be like that. You gotta have a realistic approach. Because see, Neptune rules Pisces, and Neptune is they call him the deceiver. Because he deals with idealism. But our world is not idealistic. Our world is realistic. So you gotta have that mentality. Don't have to be mean or anything like that, but you don't have to be so nice and eager and caring that you actually turn her off. And if you notice, even at your Juno is 16 degrees, and once again, that's implying Mars energy, the tower, the breakdown before you build it back up. We'll get back to that. Oh yeah. So we did a sun sign, moon sign, and the when you're dealing with the ascendant being Virgo, you're dealing with health issues. A person who can really be great at finding things that are wrong. That's Virgo. Great at critical analysis. And Virgo is those who deal with the home, small children, small animals, the job, daily activities, health. Some might deal with homeland security. But Virgo serves too. Virgo usually represents the sixth house, and that's about health and service and healing. And then your seventh house is also about spiritual service. But so what I'm saying is you got to be careful because when you do a lot of service or you work customer service and serve, but you don't know how to get yours because you're so used to serving. And like I said, for the most part, a female's gonna make, even if a guy didn't want to be that way, at some point she's gonna make it come out of him. And it took me a long time to realize that. But when you do have a personality and you are willing to tell her, "Oh no, this is mine," or "No, I'm going for mine," she'll respect you more. And a lot of times I've seen it many times when a guy, keeps trying to hold the door for his female or take the chair out, and she'll be like, "Stop! You're embarrassing me." So it's one of them things. So you got to know all this kind of before you know, hopefully before you get involved. But if not, hopefully you'll be able to get through it without somebody breaking up or going into separation or whatever. All right, now It looks like you was born somewhere around a new moon. So that's the next step. Oh yeah, summertime. I was just outside. I wanted to see what was up in space. So we can ready to do that as well. Just give me a moment. Crescent moon is up there, and it's a waxing crescent moon. It's in the west. It's 8:06 p.m. Monday night, March 11th, and it's a couple of people. The moon is more or less looks like it's conjunct Mars, and Mars is right with Aries, and that's interesting. And Uranus is in Pisces. Yeah, see, the black chart is always different than the white chart, but a lot of times the black is more accurate to what's really going on up there. And I saw over there with the moon. It probably was Capella. It might have been Elder Baron, yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's probably Capella. So we got a lot going on. You got the moon, you got Mars, you got Aries. Cause we just said your moon sign is Aries, so it might even be affecting you right now. And then it's funny because your sun sign is Pisces, and Uranus is in Pisces. So you're really getting it. You're getting hit with a lot of what I call dynamic energy. Moon and Aries with Mars and Uranus and Pisces. So you're looking at a lot of upsets and a lot of intensity. All right. All right. So now yes, we're gonna do your moon phase calculator. Our moon phase calendar, I think would be a better phrase. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should have said calculator. All right, here we go. I think this is the right one. Now on March 5th, 2019, it was 2% pre-new moon. In other words, the next day, that was the next day, was on the 6th. But on March 5th, 2019, it was 2% new moon. 2% away from the new moon. Alrighty, so let's just continue to look. Alright, so this one's only going to give you 2018 and 2019. So I have to keep looking. This one. Give me a moment. I don't want this one either. It makes me laugh how this one is really good. And it's always hard to find that one. I mean, you will, but it's just like, why does it take so long to find it? Right, if I don't find it now, I want to change it to moon calendar. Okay, I think this is it. Yep. All right. And here it is. Now, when you were born, you were literally born a day. Yep, you were born on the new moon. You were born on the new moon. And it's funny how that's why I don't really get it. Because really, you would think if you were born on a new moon, your moon and if you were really born on a new moon, your moon and your sun would be a little bit closer together. But you were definitely born directly on the new moon. So what I'm gonna try to do, I want to use the black, because we're already looking at the white natal chart, but I want to use the black transit chart and see what was going on at that time. All right, so you want to say, yeah, what day was that? Oh, good, they do give you the day. It was a Thursday, right? Let me make sure this is the right day. Okay. It was a Thursday. They had to give me a chance because I'm just making sure. Sometimes, like if you say March 5th, it'll say March, 5, but sometimes you have to put the 05 in. I'm just trying to figure that out. Putting the year in, and then I want to go back to the actual time of your birth. Let's see what happens. So whenever you're doing these things, they'll ask you if your time zone is a -5 or a -4. Now this one is using -4 because it considered daylight saving time. So if you're considering daylight saving time, you put -4. Otherwise, you'll put -5. All right. So now we have it. But it says 1642, which is 442. I want 1742. But yeah, just so I can see what's going on. Let's take it back to 1642. Alright, so this is back in the day. You had Aquarius, you had Moon and Mercury. You had Moon and Mercury in Pisces. Now let's look at your chart. And the Sun was in Aquarius. So it's like one house off from what the white space chart is saying. Alright. So that's interesting. Very interesting. Alrighty. So you were born new moon. Pretty much new moon personalities. They have a problem with completing things they start. Alright. So let's look at that really quick. New moon personality. Like they said, fresh face, ready for action, impulsive, dynamic, forceful. But that's why you have to be careful because of diving into things. And that's what I mean. And what happens, because I still make this mistake, what happens is you think you're a great person and this will be great and you really believe that. But the reality is people may not feel the way you do. Even if you're 100% right, they may just totally feel totally different. And they may really fight against you. And you're sitting there saying, why are they fighting against me when I don't lie or this and that? But the more you're awake to what goes on, you realize it. And you can change and adapt and deal with reality, and you'll be better off. So you're like the Fool in the Tarot card, and the Fool card is Uranus energy. And that could also be an initiation when you're being invited into the dark side. Because the Fool card is being led by the High Priestess, who represents the mysteries, the secrets in the dark. So your lunar phase energy coming off the moon is similar to Aries, but your moon is in Aries. So in other words, you get things when you just you dive in. And you may mean well, but that's one thing that you have to learn is that a lot of times people think, oh, outside the situation, outside the problem. But even when you do it, there's going to be new problems that come up. So that's why you learn things are the way they are, and you're not as gun-ho as you previously were. All right. So they're saying went over, but so your chart it would be like that. They would not be in the same house. Your sun and moon would not be in the same house. There would be one over, but it's just that the white chart disagrees with the black chart. All right. So again, uh, a moon in Aries or a new moon personality, that person has got to work on finishing what they start. All right. So we pretty much already went over what a Virgo rising ascendant would be. All right. So we're still going through. And what is this? Okay. Now is this the same website? Nah, two different websites. All right. So now we're gonna just do a little bit of numerology. So based on your birth, your karmic number is 5. So we'll look at that. And we'll look. Because they did say something about you and mysteries and stuff like that. But like I said, I told you, I did this a long, I was doing it for hours. I was just storing up information. And for some reason, somebody keeps doing 14 over 5 or whatever. All right, here we go. So they're saying that a karmic number could be a karmic debt number. You have a debt to pay in this life. But sometimes I just call it a assignment number. You may have some type of assignment to connect with the person you feel close to. All right. So this person has a client with a life path number 8, expression destiny number 6, soul urge of number 3, and a birthday number of number 8. So when you add the life path number with the expression of destiny number, you get 14. 14 over 5. Right, so when you see a karmic number, it's telling you you're going to experience some type of significant challenges or difficulties with particular topics in your life. All right. So it depends on where this so-called karmic number will land on your chart, your natal chart. All right. So they're saying a karmic debt, but like I said, all karmic is not a debt. Sometimes it's a karmic assignment, so you got to be real careful with that. So they said a karmic debt is like having a credit card debt. All right. So they're saying make sure you know your karmic debts on your natal chart. Because they said his karmic number is 5. So they're saying if you have a karmic debt of number 5 or 1-4 over 5, you misuse freedom in the past life. Uh-oh. Now it's getting into issues of behavior. So the 4, like the number 4 and the 1-4 over 14 over 5 represents the misuse of freedom in a previous manifestation. The 4 is all about security, stability, using step-by-step processes to achieve your goal, hard work, and responsibility. The 1 in all karmic numbers refers to selfishness and self-absorption. Then the number next to it, in this case the 4, is the indicator of the nature of the past interactions. All right. So the number next to it, in this case the 4, is an indicator of the nature of the past infractions. So the 1, like 14 over 5, or karmic number 5. 1 is showing the self-absorbed person in a past life, and 4. All right. So once again, so if you got a karmic debt number, yours is 5, and they write it down like 1-4 over 5. 1 symbolizes or signifies selfishness, self-absorbed. And the number 4 is the nature of the past infractions. So karmic debt 5, or karmic number 5, 1-4 over 5. You are now paying back for past abuses where you acted upon your personal and often selfish sense of freedom for yourself at the expense of others. So the 14/5 is telling you there's been a pretty hefty abuse of freedom through being irresponsible and shunning any sense of responsibility. And again, I get this number from your birth date. And that might be why now they have you kind of sun sign Aries in relationships. Because now that's like totally the opposite. One was in a past life, you're pushing your freedom your way. In this life, you're going to have issues with maybe giving too much, wanting to serve too much. So they say this person might act on the destructive tendencies of the number 5 until the lesson has been understood, acknowledged, acted upon, and mastered. Because that's why I said it's kind of funny because I kind of went over this before, even without doing a numerically. I had went over this before, and like he was acting like he didn't know what the hell I was talking about, and I was just sitting here going, "Wow," you know what I'm saying? Because I could see it, but not as much as karmic. Just I could just see it on the chart. Even like I said, just the one house alone, that's explosive. That 8th house, and whenever you got the moon in the 8th house, that's dealing with reincarnation and stuff like that. Anyway. So that's why I say I don't know, cause he really acted like he didn't know what the heck I was talking about. Because that has to be addressed first. That's why I don't like to just skip. I'm an old school technical type dude. Cause otherwise you're gonna miss stuff. And even my friend, he had to find out, but at least he found out. Cause my friend Thomas, sometimes he jumps into stuff. And I kept telling him to stop doing that. And he'd be real hard headed. Not now, but he used to be real hard headed. Oh, don't worry about that. Just tell me about my soulmate in the 8th house. I said, hold up. You got 12 houses. Let's take it slow and find out a little bit more. No, I don't care. All I want to know is about my soulmate in the 8th house. So then he got the soulmate, and then they broke up within 2 weeks because he was moving too fast. But he learned. So from then on, he would get a whole lot of natal charts. After that, he would get a lot of natal charts and let me do what I'm supposed to do. So, because I know one of your questions was relationships. So that's the first thing they're saying to you is with a karmic debt number of 5 or 14/5, you're gonna have inability to hold on to a relationship, which we had to talk about anyway. We'll get to it. Jumping from job to job, and like I said, I don't know if these things are true. Only he would know that. But even like when I talk to people, I try to because somebody will say, well, I didn't jump from job to job. One was a layoff and one that either way is job to job. So we want to keep it simple. And if you didn't, you didn't. But they say they may struggle with any type of addiction. It could be food, drug, alcohol. But they say you have somewhat of a problem of taking full responsibility for yourself. Lacking the ability to focus and follow through. And that is a new moon personality. And they say lacking the ability to commit. Because that was one more thing I read. They said that this person would more or less, they wouldn't necessarily commit In fact, they may be talking to more than one person, but they're really like they're watching everything instead of committing. They're going to have to make sure. I have to make sure. An unhealthy sense of dependence. Unhealthy sense of independence. Said if they don't get their way, they can become very emotional, and that's like in the 8th house where I see it at. They don't necessarily practice self-discipline. See, this is all the stuff I brought out basically on the first read, and that's why I go, what is the guy supposed to do? Because I'm trying to answer his questions, so I totally try to avoid being technical. I try to go about it a different way, and it's still saying the same thing. This is totally different than the way I did it before. First time I did it, it was strictly off the chart. This time I just went to numerology because I'm trying to get answers to his questions, but it's like the universe is saying, you got to deal with this. And they say this person might have excessive sexual encounters and inability to practice self-discipline. So whether this is something that's known or hidden, it still has to be dealt with. So in this lifetime, you have to learn moderation, a healthy sense of discipline, organization, and routine. Because they say until you're willing to commit to some form of structure, that's the only time you're ever going to have real freedom. Because that's the only time you can create a plan to set attainable goals. So the universe is going to give you deep, emotionally upsetting situations, and even some frustrating delays. And when you're dealing with delays, you're usually dealing with Saturn, but you have to learn how to deal with it. Your test is in sticking to your commitments no matter what is thrown your way. But you can't become rigid or negative. You have to learn to be flexible yet disciplined. Focused yet open to change. Determined to do the hard work and engage in the step-by-step process that yields you results. You can't blame others. You can't blame bad luck. If you're having trouble moving forward with success, you still have to take responsibility for that. So only then, if you meet this challenge, can you shift your perspective and look at your obstacles as detours. You have to embody the optimal and positive potential of the number 5, not the chaotic or even violent energies of number 5. And they say if nothing she said, nothing I just read sounds like you that she says you may have been working on it. But the reason why I question that because like I said, I saw this before and it's like he didn't know what I was. He just seemed like he didn't know what I was talking about. So sometimes you've been in denial or something, but it's definitely something. Like the universe ain't gonna keep lying. You know what I'm saying? Like I see it now, they see it, so it's something. Says, so don't feel like a victim. Said, even if you can't remember it, this is from a past life, that now you have to deal with it in this life. So now you have to go, in this life, you have to be like the phoenix. You have to go through an intense reconstruction process in order to become to terms and clear your karmic slate. Because that's why I said the 8th house is all about reincarnation. The number 8 is the karmic number. It's all about karmic. The 8th house and 12th house could be dealing with karma. All right, now just give me a second. Ah, they still had your birthday. Because see, all this stuff went down. It's a long story, but it's like just a lot of stuff been going on with the computer and stuff. And it all went down. But fortunately, thank God I was able to get there. Because this was the main thing I wanted to go over. And we'll read a lot of this other stuff. But we'll see. So again, your birthday number, your karmic number, we already said is number 5. And they also said it's number 5 in tarot. So then that is the Pope. That's the Hierophant. That's Taurus energy. So let's just look at your... And Taurus rules your 2nd house. Because you was asking about money and stuff like that. And your 2nd house is about money. Ruled by Taurus. So in your 9th house, because you were asking about family, but the numbers that were coming up for you was also the number 6, because that's love and family and could be a relationship, but also number 9. Now number 9 is the 9th house, that's Sagittarius energy, because they were saying Cancer for you, like Cancer is family, but even water is Pisces. So you got like education, your higher self, number 9, 9th house. And also family, which is like Cancer or the 4th house. So when you have Taurus in the 9th house like you do, that's kind of like a teacher, but that teacher has to be careful. Because when Taurus is put in the 9th house, it's kind of like really to serve. Because you got to remember, in your past life, you've already been aggressive. So now they're telling you, if you got Taurus in your 9th house, that's like a teacher. But you see a lot of religious people, because see, the Taurus is the Pope, the Hierophant. It's a spiritual energy. But you see a lot of teachers that feel like, listen, I'm highly educated, and I should be paid. And that's why, like, oh, my name is Reverend, Doctor, because the reason why they give you all these names, because you paying for it, and they let you know that. You go to these churches and stuff, they let you know quick. But really, spiritually speaking, that it's not supposed to be like that. Messiah said it's not supposed to be like that. And also with astrology, Taurus in the 9th house has to come from a position of service, not a position of being above people. And that was something they were saying about you through your numerology. That, even if even if you hide it kind of well, but they were saying you may actually think you're above others. But in this life, you got to serve, not to burn yourself out, not to let people walk on you like a mat, but you are to serve. So they keep saying number 5 is change, variety, opportunity, travel, escape, fluctuating life experience. And they say number 5 is the number of man and his original 5 senses. But 5s can be restless, they seek freedom, and this pursuit might never be satisfied. Every time they're getting what they want, they become uncertain and sometimes fearful of what lies ahead. Because they kind of like implied, even if you were, they kind of implied that you would be the problem in a relationship. Like a lot of times people say, oh, no, it's a female, it's a female. But they said in your case, it would actually be you. Because you would have a problem committing. So 5's always seeking something new. And that's like, again, new moon. People are like that. So 5s can be honest people, but that's because they expect honesty and justice from others. But it doesn't mean 5s are reliable or responsible. And 5s don't necessarily like rules and obligations. They're really trying to be free. And your life path is 2-9, which is 11, but it also could be 2. But I already got that written out, so I got that on the paper. Because like I said, I was out here for hours going over all of this. So we'll go over that as well. So your attitude number is attitude number 8. Number of power. They say 8 is the first free number. These people can expand in any direction according to their will and their set of values. 8 can bring protection and can symbolize somebody that can overcome. 8 is a position of authority. Alright, so for your first pinnacle is age 0 to 33. Your first pinnacle is the number 8, and we already explained it. Your second pentacle is ages 34 to 42 is number 8 again. Third pentacle, ages 43 to 51, is 7. Mystical number 7 is the number of a soul, spiritual victory, but that's ages 43 to 51. Quest for higher truth, highly intuitive. Spiritual leadership, business analysis, marketing, artistic visions, scientific research. Fourth pentacle, the number 6, 52 and beyond. All right, now we're going to look at your temperament. I just saw this. I'm going to put this in there now. Bear with me. I was hoping that they would have your date there. All right. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Just double checking something. I don't know why they can't just answer my simple question. All right, I got it. Time zone 5. All right, give me a second. Come on, man. Give me a moment, bro. Because I'm trying to do this correctly, but I don't know. All right, Alright, that looks a little bit more like what the other one looks like. 73, 54, 73, 54. Forty. What the hell just happened? Come on, come on, come on. I wonder if this is it. Because it didn't really show me, I didn't really see it move. And now was some stuff written here at the bottom. But I don't know if that was already there, but it probably wasn't. So they say you were a human, because they were asking you were an angel. And they say you were a human. Because they had the light side, dark sides. Alright, so it's like you were just say you were human. They didn't really say too much else. But now what I'm gonna do is just change the date just to see what happens. Yeah, it was. It just happened so fast I didn't see it, so. Alright. So that's that. Now something else I was looking at. Okay, yeah, so that was everything I was looking at. Okay, so now what the hell is this? Oh, that's the other one. Get out of there. But like I said, I was out here for a long time, bro. It's a lot of information. Plus, it kind of throws a nail my way because it's hard for me to proceed forward because the universe keeps taking me back. It's like you were in denial, you know, because that's what I was thinking. Like when I first did you, I was like, is this dude in denial? And so then I went totally different, and then they said the same exact thing. So that's like I said, from my hands, I can only tell you what the universe says. And I said this to you before, but whatever it is, you gotta look at yourself honestly, and you gotta deal with it. Whatever it is. Like I'm not saying it's this extreme, but a long time ago, I used to watch America's Most Wanted, and what happened was this woman used to shop because she was a very busy woman, and I don't think she had a husband or nothing. So she would be shopping early in the morning. Now somehow, I guess she left her car doors open or whatever, and so this dude, he was just out in the parking lot, but he knew how to do crime because you know how early in the morning, ain't nobody really in no parking lots early in the morning, and it's really few. It's only a few people in them stores. But like I said, I was just in a local store up the street from my house. I never go there. I go somewhere else. But because of my scheduling, I just went there because I didn't feel like getting up early to go to the other location. I said, I'm just going to go here. It was like 9 o'clock or whatever at night. And literally, that store is huge. It's a food store, but it's huge. But it really was not a whole lot of people up in there. Like, I was just walking around. Like, I was walking through that big-ass store, and you would see a human every now and then. Now, that store is huge. But because it was a weeknight and I got there around 9:30 or 10 o'clock, was literally nobody really in there. even only had like one cashier. It had like 20 to 25 cashiers, and it was only one female, teenage girl, working by herself. So you could see what could happen. So this guy could, like I said, when you a criminal or whatever, you got demons and shit on you anyway. So he kind of figured that out, that he could get away with it because ain't nobody really out there. Ain't no security in the parking lot. So he was just out there lurking. Somehow he was able to stay bent down. Ain't nobody see him. So this woman, she came. You got to just see a mother, and she got the baby with her. And she's probably working jobs or going to school and working and doing it all by herself. So she went on in the store. So apparently she just left her car door open because they said he was in the car waiting. So that's crazy in itself. But people do dumbass shit. Like I know for a fact. And I feel sorry because I'm out here all the time telling people. But they're going to keep on doing it because they think it can't happen to them. It can happen to anybody, male or female. So now, this part I don't believe. Because they say he was in the back of the car or whatever. And she ain't know it. So she went, she came back, got in the car with a baby. And he was back there and she ain't see him. And that part I don't really believe. I believe he sabotaged her when she came back to the car. Now why this resonates with me? Because the lady right up the street in the house I'm always talking about, that's how she got murdered in the 1980s. So this lady got it the same way. But I think he probably sabotaged her, and she probably ain't yell or whatever. But she could have yelled, but she probably was scared of trying to protect the baby. But he probably sabotaged her, grabbed her, whatever. So you better do what I say. I'll kill you and this baby. You better do exactly what I say. And she was just terrified. And so the rest, is horrible. He threw the baby out the car. And then he was just he just raped her, and then just brutally killed her. So this dude had been on the run. Cops couldn't find him yet. He'd been on the run. So he ended up in these white people primarily. They had this location they would come, and that was their religion. That was their church. It wasn't a real church, but it was just white people getting together and stuff like that. So he met with them, and he was like one of their brothers, and he started like progressing. So he became like the pastor. And he was like teaching them about love and Jesus and forgiveness and love thy neighbor. And boom, boom, boom. That's what he was doing. Then the cops finally found him. And he was like, you got the wrong person. You got the wrong person. But they already knew. Because the evidence and everything. They knew it was him. He was like, you got the wrong person. You got the wrong person. And all his people would say, oh no, it's so we can't believe that he would do something like that. He's the most loving person. He's our pastor and all that. But this dude had brutally killed not only the lady and raped her and killed her, but he threw the baby out the car. So say, well, why are you saying that? My point is, humans can forget what they want to forget. Because obviously this is like a past life situation. But it's still in the chart now as well. Now, I'm not saying it's the same thing, but it is intensity, because this is the stuff I went over basically the first time. And nobody can paint a perfect picture for you if it ain't there yet. But there's karma that has to be worked on, and in any form of denying it or any form of saying it don't exist, it's not going to benefit for you. Because what happens is, whatever everybody thinks, that demon that was on that man, it would have came out again. Because this is a brutal, savage murderer. That's what that dude was. Brutal, savage murderer. Because he could have did a couple other things. He didn't have to continually rape her and then murder her. And he darn sure didn't have to throw the baby. I think the baby kept crying or something. He just threw it out the car. So he's a brutal, savage murderer. So that type of demon is not going nowhere. it just gets triggered. All it takes is somebody to piss him off the wrong way or whatever, and he'll do it again. And even if he never did it again, he still got to pay for that. So we can't pick and choose how we're going to do this walk. We have to do it the way the universe tells us. And the natal chart is showing you what we need to work on and things like that. Because we might be asking about a good job or a relationship or family, but we gotta deal with our karma. We gotta deal with any aspects on our chart or from the past life that has to be dealt with. So far I gave a lot of numerology. Now you have also called a root number is 5. You are intelligent, sharp-minded, restless, and very friendly. Your lucky number is 5. Your lucky dates are 5, 6, 14, 15, 23, 24. Your most important years are the 14th, 19th, 23rd, 28th, 32nd, 41st, 50th, and 59th. Your lucky colors are white, red, and green. Your lucky days are Wednesday and Friday. Your favorite career are publisher, writer, jeweler, computer, and clothes. But we're gonna look more at that. Your lucky gemstones are emerald and diamond. Alright, just give me a moment because now I'm getting these. This was a lot of good information. And that's why, what you have to understand, that's why I did it this way. So I wouldn't fall to the habit of interpreting the natal chart. So I went through the birth date and tried to go through the numerology way. But it said the exact same thing that I said when I did the birth chart. Because even like R. Kelly now, they're accusing that man of everything. Now, RFG Chosen One gave his take on it, which was interesting. Because I kind of agree with that a little bit. Because they're not really going to show you anything that hasn't been scripted or planned. But, you know, but RFG's Chosen One said some really good stuff. But, yeah, so you can't. R. Kelly comes on TV with a suit on, and he's trying to act like, oh, come on, I'm not. Boom, boom, boom. Great. And it was, even then, it was a little weird. So, if it's true, this is a guy that has done a lot of stuff, somewhat perverted, and in a sense abusive as well. But yet he's saying, oh, no, that's not true. And if it is true, he even got other females lying, saying, oh, no, no. He would never do anything like that. All right, so now here we go. We're going to talk about love health, and a few other things. But we will be bouncing around, so this is why it's going to be important to pay attention. Now, this is based on your birth date. So you require friendship and love in order to exist. And that is basically one of your questions. Family, and I think you asked about love. But this is the whole 6-9. They say you will marry early, though possibly you will have more than one love affair before making a binding choice. Now, when they say love affair, you got to remember, sometimes people that write these are, say, Hindu. So when they say words, it's not how we use them. Doesn't mean you had a love affair, like you didn't cheat on anybody. That's not what they're saying. But they're saying you may have had different love interests. And I get that a lot. I got that a lot on your numerology. Like it almost like sometimes it's the female that hesitates with commitment. But they were implying that it might be you, and that's in harmony with the new moon personality, because you're always thinking something new is gonna come, or you're always looking around the corner. So because of that, you may be the one who prolongs the situation from marriage, even though it looks like you're the one who's interested in it. And like I said, you never know. Like, this is just some weird shit. Like I keep it 100. It's just some weird shit, because it's not fitting. It's not fitting. And like I said, I understand it. And when I first did your chart, I was trying to just be cool, because I like, well, I could be wrong. Because I could be wrong, because this dude is acting like, and I ain't know, like, I like, this dude is acting like everything I just said don't apply to him. And yeah, I finally had to tell him, I was like, yo, own up to it if it's you. So whenever you get your natal chart done, you got to make sure you're listening to the information, and you got to be honest about it. But see, he's a Pisces as well, and that can be fantasy land, because Neptune will deceive you. But you just got to be careful, because you got to deal with the real, whatever it is. Like somebody like R. Kelly, he's had decades of getting away with it. Now they tell him you gonna face the music, and he can try whatever he wanted. But here's a dude that made a song talking about I did it. I did it. You know how he sing. And then he talking about, oh, I like young girls. I like women. That's your opinion. I said, no, that's the law. Or Mr. R, that's the law. It's not my opinion. That's the freaking law. You going to jail. And then he keep coming back talking. And the more he talks, the more he incriminates himself. So they say once married, you'll be an admirable partner. So you are romantic. You feel like you're walking on a cloud. See, you're a Pisces. Now, my friend's an Aquarius, and he does that. He goes heads over heels for love. So they say you becoming in love may also help you become more spiritual. Now, we just read all that. We said about the Pentacles, and they basically said that might be later on in life, possibly. But this one said you may marry very young. And see, you got a lot of 9 energy. See, that's Sagittarius. So that's somebody that might marry, break up, and get back together. That Aquarius I'm talking about, him and his girlfriend, they're both twin flames. They're always breaking up and making up. They just got back together recently, and I was talking about it on this channel, Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. Now they're talking about your health. So you don't have any great flaws in your health, but you still got to take care of your health. They're telling you to watch your lungs. So if somebody tells me to watch my lungs, that means I want to watch no smoking and stuff like that. And they're saying your nerves may give you trouble, but You will have trouble with nerves if you're in any form of denial. Now, they say you may suffer from headaches and migraines. They're telling you to live a natural life, get out in the fresh air, and be temperate in your food and drink. Be temperate in your food and drink. Hobbies. So they say travel is a pastime which appeals to you the most. But see, if you are a 9, it's travel. But so is a 5, it's travel. I mean, even if you're a number 3, a Gemini, because I did see a Gemini in your chart, which I think it is your possibly look like your 10th house. And that's a short trip. And they're both at 12, which was interesting. 12 again is Neptune energy, but that's the hangman, and he kind of hides away to himself. And also Gemini in the 10th house is somebody that may have part-time jobs or goes from job to job or doesn't keep a job very long. Now, again, none of this is necessarily a bad thing, but you have to be aware of it. See, you want to stay away from any element of fantasy for the most part. I'm sure there are times you can fantasize, but it just depends. But you want to stay away from any form of fantasy and any form of failing to take responsibility for things that you're responsible for. All right, like I said, give me a moment. So they're saying, they were implying that you might not have the money to really travel, although you may want to. They say come up with other diversions. And they say you'll enjoy playing cards. And they say your cards may include wireless sets to a batch of photographic prints. And like I said, remember, it's a lot of information I'm going to be reading. And then I am going to go back in. Because like I said, basically, here's how it went down. I said, listen, this guy's asking me some questions that he just wants answers. So I'm going to try to stay away from me going into the natal chart. Because I already did all that. So I said, okay, let's do numerology, let's do the birth date. But it still took me out with all this information. But ultimately, now we're going to have to go back to get a summary of the natal chart. But in cases like this, you really don't know. So all you can do is present the information the way it was presented to you. All right, now we're going to jump over to the Chinese astrology. And Chinese astrology, you, sir, are the monkey based on the year you were born. But your element is water, which it would have been water anyway because you're a Pisces. Your sun sign is a Pisces. Your character, everybody keeps saying you're intelligent, obstinate, quick, but they say, obstinate could be a lot of Taurus energy there, quick-tempered. See, intelligence is Sagittarius, 9th house. Obstinate is Taurus, like yours, 9th house. Quick-tempered is your moon sign in Aries in the 8th house, which is a lot of watery, fiery emotions. Easily frustrated is a sign of immaturity. Now that could have something to do with Pisces or even Gemini, but it's a sign of immaturity. Because why do I say that? Because life is not going to be perfect, and I had to learn. I'm still learning. Because I had people around me that could literally drive you crazy, like in ways you, even if I tried to explain it to you, you wouldn't see it. But even supernaturally, all kind of ways they go, like just crazy, like psychic, crazy shit. Like a person knows I'm going to walk through, and then right where I'm going to walk through, they put all this shit in the path, and it's at the same time I'm carrying a lot of stuff. Like somehow this person is so I won't use the term wicked, but they do it right. Like they somehow know, and so they'll block a path that I'm walking when I'm carrying something. And then they did it again. This time I was coming down steps, which there's no way they could have known I was going to be carrying this big ass box down the steps. And instead of putting the mail to the left side of the steps like they normally do, they put it right in the middle. So it's easy to hit it, slide down the freaking steps. So I see stuff like this all the time though. Like it's like something evil on that person. It's supernatural. But it is what it is. So you can get frustrated, or you might want to take matters in your own hand. But I've learned that whatever's happening is from God. All this stuff. And like I said, I understand astrology is too. So that person is actually doing exactly what they should be doing, astrology speaking. So you have to learn how to deal with crazy stuff like that without becoming frustrated or quick-tempered. And some people will repress it. Like they go, ain't nothing wrong, but it is wrong. They just repress it. So you gotta learn how to let it come out and deal with it. Now I've learned though, like some things, like I'm not gonna keep talking about stupid stuff when nobody's gonna change. They just want to keep pulling you back into this dumb shit. So I won't do that. Like if it was a case where we could talk about it, deal with it, then I would. But if it's gonna be the same typical, like on my other channel, I've been talking a lot about what I call the N frequency, the N word frequency. So that type of frequency is always gonna be about some bullshit, some nonsense. So of course I'm not gonna allow people to keep pulling me into it. But if necessary, I will talk if necessary. If not, sometimes you ain't got no choice because people are going to stay the same. Only they're going to change if they want to. It's nothing you can say or do. It's just going to make them change. And some of these people, you could almost beat them within an inch of their life. And within a week or two, they go right back to the same stuff. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. They have to want to change. There's really nothing you can say or do. So they say these people can be manipulative. Now, I think I saw that on your chart. Because your 8th house is the house of manipulation. And look what you got there. The moon at 1 degree. That's Mercury. That is the magician tarot card. And he can speak stuff into reality. He can make you believe what he's talking. And it's right next to Mercury. And that's the energy of the magician card. Is Mercury. And Mercury can be a great deceiver, great communicator, but also a great deceiver. And even the moon is known for fogginess or deception in the tarot card. So that's why I said, what happens though, if that is the case with you, the universe will force you to see it at some point. So we can't just go, it didn't happen. I don't know where he's getting that from. I'm a good person. And nobody's saying you're a bad person. But with the universe, I said it when I first did your chart, and now the universe is saying it. And again, you have to understand, I totally left your chart alone. And I still got the same message. So for me, it's a done deal. Like I've been alive too long, and I just know certain things. Like you whoever you are, either you're gonna own up to it, or the universe is gonna force you to own up to it at some point. And it might take 20 more years before they do it. Like that other guy was on a run for a long time. He was on a run for a long time. And by the time the cops caught him, he's the most meekest, nicest man. Pastor, been praying for people. And it looked like God was answering the prayers. He had all those people fooled. They couldn't fathom that that man did them horrible crimes, but he did. So what I'm saying is, and keep in mind, this is what came up. Don't think I sat here and tried to, oh, I'm going to pick this one because it agrees with what I said. I'm going to pick that one, but I'm not going to pick that. I disagree. No, dude, I went straight down, and everybody's saying the same thing, if you're listening. They say the monkey people are fun and loving persons who are always cheerful and energetic. They are very clever. If you give a monkey person a boring book to read, he'll turn it into a musical. And they say he will invite other people to see the book for free, like read it with them, like what they do at the library. But see, that means you got skills, and that's how like you see all these people out here on YouTube doing very well because they're creative. So they say nobody can win a word of war with you. You're too clever. And they say, but the monkey likes to overindulge. He loves flattery, and he loves to eat and drink. But that's how Taurus is. Taurus love to eat and drink. Monkeys, Chinese monkeys, which would be your sign of Pisces. Chinese monkeys are at the center of attention. But it doesn't necessarily just have to be Pisces. It could possibly be Sagittarius and stuff as well. They have charm and humor. But they can be deceptive. See, they keep saying that that's that Mercury deception, Gemini deception. Say they can act friendly, but they really don't. They have different. They act like they're your friend, but they have different opinions about you, but they hide it. So they don't hide their emotions, though. So they say a monkey person wants you to know how happy or depressed they are. Now that's Cancer energy. And see, a lot of questions you ask are Cancer related, family, stuff like that. So they really don't care what other people think. Like a monkey person don't care what other people think. And again, they say it again, the monkey person likes traveling. So they like to travel. They need to change jobs, just like I said, Gemini in the 10th house, or they move on a regular basis. They're very good at problem solving. So they say if you got a problem or something, call a monkey, a Chinese monkey. Now remember, he's a monkey based on the year he was born. And they say monkeys listen very closely and they work out solutions at the same time. And they have a great thirst for knowledge. And again, that's more Sagittarius energy. But they can be unreasonable at times. But they're good at making you believe that they are doing the right thing. And that's why I said, see, for me, it's a done deal. Because like that, I'm saying, after I got done with his chart, I was asking myself, and I never do that. I think I'm the shit. I was like, man, did I do something wrong? I was like, is this guy in denial or did I do something? Did I miss something? Because this dude was like, nah. He was really like, and I said, I don't know. I hope this dude ain't faking. I don't know. And then I get more like after this read. So if that's the truth, you got to work on that because you can't just think. Like I said, the dude did get caught. It took the law time to get his ass, but they got him though. So people really believe that. Like, oh, if I just, act like it didn't happen or, just forget about it. So monkeys can be self-centered. They can be opportunists. They can be deceitful. They say, but monkeys don't care because they're indifferent. So the monkey said, it's about my reality, not yours. Ha ha. Spoken like a true criminal. Ha ha ha. But a monkey can become famous because he has charm and luck. Remember, luck is Sagittarius. Charm can be Taurus. Magnetism is Taurus. Luck is Jupiter, who rules Sagittarius. As friends, monkeys can be loyal and devoted. As lovers, they can be passionate and yet flighty. They can fall easily in love, but will get tired of the relationship and look for another. See, my ascendant is Gemini, and I kind of had that because it's deep. See, my Leo's in the third house, but that's ruled by Gemini. So before I knew all this stuff, that's how I was. I could fall in love real quick, but if somebody pissed me off, I could fall out just as quick. I used to confuse the hell out of females. I thought he loved me. I mean, like, I dated you, did that stupid ass shit. Fuck you. But then I realized that I don't, I'm real careful. I try to be as careful as possible everything I do and shit. Your lucky numbers 3, 4, 5, 7, 16, 23, 34, 45, 54. Famous monkeys, Michael Caine. You old timers know who Michael Caine is. Johnny Cash, Ian Fleming, Charles Dickens, Bob Marley, Peter O'Toole. Isn't that interesting? Peter O'Toole, Bob Marley, Rod Stewart. If you think I'm sexy and you want my body, come on, baby, let me know. Diana Ross, The Boss. Mick Jagger. Ooh, baby, they've been waiting so long. Oh, baby, why you waiting so long? Won't you? Come on. Come on. Elizabeth Taylor. Michael, stop calling me. Isn't that ironic? Michael Jackson was stalking Diana Ross and Elizabeth Taylor, and they're both famous monkeys. But now we know why. Because Michael had the monkey. Now we know why Michael was so attached to Diana Ross and Elizabeth Taylor. They're both monkeys. Oh, you learn something new every day. Now, if you think you got a problem with me, just watch that album cover. Because I just put it out here on Michael Jackson with all that crazy shit on that album cover and that naked little boy in Michael's hand. And then Michael Jackson was sitting in the lower right-hand corner of that album cover. And then he had like a reptilian demon or something behind him and shit. So they say that the one that's compatible with you at 91, probably 91%, is the rat. And then you can go online and find out what year the rat is. I think the rat was 96. But it was I said it. I said it earlier. The ox, maybe. I don't know. But they're trying to tell you who's compatible with you. So again, you're born under the water element. This is still Chinese astrology. Give me one moment. These people are very good communicators. Now listen to this. They have the built-in ability to influence the thought process of the other people around them. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to tell you. And that's what that dude did. And R. Kelly think he could do that now. He think by coming on TV and talking about, oh no, and having a couple other females saying, oh no, no. We love him. But it ain't going to work. Because they got too many people saying otherwise. And they say he got a video of him being abusive or whatever. So it ain't going to work. Not this time. But look how long he got away with it, though. I mean, they had him on camera getting that work in on that little girl. And he still got away with it. That wasn't me. That was my brother. So these people are good at what they do. And that's why I say he make you believe his songs. I remember one time he did a song. This was like after, this was later on, like after his career wasn't as big as it was, but R. Kelly always been big. You cannot take none away from that man as far as being one of the greatest writers of all time, one of the greatest producers of all time, and a whole lot of other things that ain't nobody coming close to that man. But he had a song. This is like after his career wasn't as big as it used to be, and it was about a female that got with a dude. And when she got with him, he had a job, and so they got together. But then he lost a job and shit, and then all hell broke loose because that female ain't staying with his ass and shit, and she was just going off on him. And I think he did it. I think he did that song with another female. I forget. But I mean, I heard that song. I wasn't even drinking at that time. I went out. That song affected me so much. I went straight to the liquor store, got me like a big ass quarter beer, some shit, and was drinking that shit. Came home, kept listening to that song over and over again. Because that song was so real. Because that broad turned on him quick. Soon as the money wasn't there, she like, fuck it. She told him like, you fucking my life up. I trusted you and I thought you was going to help us and all that. But she said like, fuck that relationship. As soon as he lost that job and he couldn't get another one, that song was tight. So what I'm saying is R. Kelly got that gift. He could write music to make you feel it, make you believe it. But that's that gift of Mercury. But see, Mercury can deceive you as well. So can Neptune. So that's why when you look on somebody's chart, once you know astrology, you can kind of see it. But like I was just being cool because I don't know, But the more you dig deeper, the more you see that there's issues that possibly could be self-denial. And what he got to realize, if it is self-denial, this is the universe. Let me tell you, like I had to tell this dude named Doc. Same thing. Because Doc was a con man. See, that's that Mercury energy. Neptunian shit. Getting people to believe what you talking, but what you talking is some bullshit. See, that's the trickster. That's Thoth. That's Hermes. That's Mercury. And that's how Doc was. I mean, one time I seen Doc use a payphone and ain't put no freaking money in it. That nigga was a straight up con man. So the universe will try to wake you up with warnings like what you're getting now. And Doc did a 4-year state bid. And I told Doc, I said, Doc, that's your warning from God. You got a 4-year state bid. I said, because if you get caught again, if you don't stop and you get caught again, I said, you're going to go to jail for a real long time. And that's what I told Doc. Doc, like most of these people, going to do what they want to. He got caught again. Wasn't no state bid. It was a Fed bid. Now, see, you got number 9. Your 9th house is a higher court. Anything with Sagittarius, anything with your 9th house is the higher court. Which means it's not going to be no slap on the wrist. Oh, we're going to give you 3 years and you just do 9 months and get the fuck out. No. Higher courts, like say the feds, when they say 15 years, it ain't okay. We're going to give you 15, but you'll do about 6 of them and get out. No, it's not. When they say 15, you're doing 85% to 90% of that time, which means you're going to do at least 14 years. You're going to do about 14 and a half years before you walk out of a federal penitentiary. See, that's the higher court. See, that's at number 9. And you got to also understand right now, Taurus is in the 12th house. And Mars has already been there in the 12th house. And now Uranus is just entering the 12th house. And Uranus means anything could happen at any time. And the 12th house is also about incarceration and prisons. And Mars and Taurus can be sexual. Remember, Taurus could also be the priest who be molesting children. All that. You see a lot of them getting in trouble now. So, and you see R. Kelly getting in trouble. Because, see, when they say in cult, so if they saying he was kind of running in like a cult, that makes him like a cult leader, which would be like a corrupt priest or something, because that's what they do. Like a corrupt pastor. Because he becomes a leader. And when they say cult, that means he has some type of spiritual effect on the people. Because he'll try to teach him, oh, you on my location. I feed you. See, he's trying to act like God over them. I feed you. Like they say, he would tell them when to go to the bathroom, when not. That man was out of his freaking mind. So that's why I say, when the universe is giving you an opportunity, take it. Don't be like Doc. Don't be like R. Like it ain't no. If what they saying about R. Kelly true, he definitely gonna do some jail time. He been walking all these years. And you see they locking brothers up like crazy. Bill Cosby, they don't care. They locking white people up too. That Weinstein. Weinstein was one of the most powerful people in the entertainment world. From what we heard, they locked his ass up. It's a new time. It's a new day. So while the universe is giving you chances to get your shit together so that God can show mercy, don't think the Nile gonna work, because it ain't gonna work. The Nile gonna get your ass locked up long time. And like R. Kelly, all that talking, that's gonna get his ass locked up long time. He would have been better keeping his freaking mouth shut and just taking whatever was coming. But he think he gonna fight his way out of it. But I think the more he talk, the more he incriminating himself. But we'll see. So they say waterborne people, like sun sign and Pisces or the monkey, Chinese monkey, they look for the easy way out. And it also says that they'll also try to take other people's achievements, and they try to take them for themselves. All right, so that was the monkey. Let me see how much time I got on this. So they keep using the word diplomatic when they speak about you as well. I put your birthday in the career calculator, came up with number 2. These are people that work in services like clerks, caterers, insurance agents, sales assistants. But we're not done. We're gonna go deeper. So don't think this is the only, because I got other stuff. International affairs, diplomat, lawyer. And that's that Sagittarius, because Sagittarius, the 9th house is international, long distance. But again, it's lawyer. So you got to be careful, because again, that's higher courts. Education, again, is a 9th house, again, teacher, researcher. And an architect is a builder. That's more like Capricorn energy. So now your birth number is number 5 for 11 relationships. They may have a lot of relationships before marriage, and they kept saying that about you, as they keep testing multiple people seeking perfection. But see, that's that Pisces in you. See, Neptune is another deceiver. So is Mercury. But Neptune got people thinking things is perfect. Just like people be thinking Christianity or something like that is true, but that's the Pisces energy. But a lot of that shit is not true. A lot of that is just fabrication and shit. But the Pisces age is an age of deception. And that's why even in the Bible, you see Jesus telling them to go to the water bearer, which is the Aquarius age. And that'll be more of enlightenment rather than deception. So a birth number 5 will actually get bored with the person they're in a relationship with. And number 5s love to experiment, but that's, again, you were born under a new moon, and that's what they do. They also love to try new ways of lovemaking. Sex is important for them. Their mind works very fast, but they change their minds quite often. They are impulsive, again, that's your moon in Aries, and need a stable partner similar to number 2 people. So that's something else you might know. Your partner might have to be stable because you may not be. They say number 8 is a good match for number 5. So, well, how will I know what number? All you got to do is get the birth date of the person. You can also have compatibility tests as well. So when we say life path number 11, life path number 11 is close to life path number 2. So we try to read them. We're going to read them together for the most part. Your heart desire is the same number as your soul urge number. And that's the counselor or nurturer. But it's number 6. And it's like for family or people you love, people that are close to you. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Because your career, if that's what you really love to do, your soul urge, your heart desire, then you should get a job doing that. Maybe some form of working with people or counseling people or being with people. Because otherwise you're not going to be happy if you get any of those other jobs that I mentioned earlier. Clerk, insurance agent, sales assistant. See, that's customer service too, but it doesn't have the love aspect. Your expression number is also your destiny number. And again, that's a healer. So you have that going for you. You're a healer. So you want to try to get a job like that. So they tell you don't be too overprotective and don't meddle in other people's affairs. You have to learn to give people their personal space. So your personality is a teacher, counselor, Sagittarian, the knowledge enlightener. And you have a personality number 9. And again, that's that Sagittarius energy, 9th house. You could be charismatic, aristocratic. You could be positive and idealistic. But you also have to be careful because you could come off as being arrogant or feeling you're above other people. And that's that whole Taurus in the 9th house energy. 9th house ruled by Sagittarius. Life path number 11, very intuitive, very sensitive, because sensitive is also life path number 2. 11 is a master teacher. Deep thinker, spiritual, aware, dreamer, loyal to others. But sometimes you may have fears or phobia. You may become moody or nervous. You have to watch having blind faith. But again, that's that Neptune deceiving Pisces. Having blind faith. You can also be a peacemaker. You're also a perfectionist, and sometimes you do things and don't get credit for it. Again, just like I said before, now your first period is age 0 to 34. Second period, or Pentacle, age 35 to 61. Third period of Pentacle is 62 upward. Your number 5 numerology is infected by Mercury. Impacted by Mercury. You work a lot. You're talented and a good communicator. You're a quick thinker. And you can multitask. But you don't finish stuff that you start a lot of the times. Your lucky gemstones are emerald and diamond. Important years for you: 2013, 2019, 2031, 2037, 2049, 2064, 2076. So they say in 2013, you might have been starting a career. They even said you might have got married or had a baby born. Then they jump all the way from 2013 to 2031. That's crazy. They say 39 years old, middle age. You might get a new property, or you may turn to financial status. They say in 2049 at age 57, you're sort of like an elderly, and you may get married. Say something about children may occur in that year. Your life path number again was 11. Shows you your journey of life. They now call in 11, 22, and 33 master builder numbers. They used to just call them master numbers. 22 was the master builder. But now they're calling them all of them, 11, 22, and 33. All right. Now, I wonder if we did this already. We should have. I guess we didn't. We may have. We'll see. So they're telling you avoid being a rolling stone. And they said especially after the age of 35. They say you will have a problem with worrying. And they say you tend to gossip. Again, anything like gossip, that's more Mercury stuff. Mercury and Gemini stuff. But you may also be critical of yourself and others. Now, your lifestyle. You feel others will only respect you if you have wealth and material possessions. And that is one of the things you asked about. So they want you to know that that's not true. They said you should pursue your goals in harmony with what you really want to do, as opposed to pursuing your goals trying to get a lot of wealth and material things. They say your career, you'll be happiest when you're around people, especially if it's love or caring. Like, I used to watch a TV show called The Desperado Western. I love that show. I always related to that guy. Really good guy, but he was always misunderstood. And at my time in my life, I felt the same way. Now, the character he played that character so well that this was a guy, he was the epitome of repression. So you never saw him in different personalities. And whoever directed that, whoever put that together, that's exactly how it should have been. Because he wasn't very happy. He was falsely accused. He had no family. His family had been brutally murdered. So he's going through the wild, wild west, and he always ended up fighting for somebody else. So this guy never had any, he was melancholy, whatever you want to call it. But I really related to that guy. So in one episode, he happened to be doing what he does, traveling through the desert. And it was a poor family that these criminals were trying to extort and rob. So he was a good gunfighter. He was fast with that gun. He fought for them, delivered them, at least for the time being. And they asked him when he sit and have dinner with them. So he was sitting, had dinner with her, took his hat off. Because you never saw him take his hat off. He took his hat off. So you could tell he really had manners, even though you never knew that. And that was the first time he got to sit with people and eat. So it reminded him of when he was home with his mom and dad, his family. And that was the first time he smiled. And I never forgot that. Never forgot that. All the episodes I watched of Desperado, he never smiled. But sitting there with those people, that family environment, took his hat off like a gentleman and smiled. It's a place I go to that can be a pain in the ass. And I'm always fighting those people. And there's always some problem going there. The machine doesn't work. The outside is closed. It's always, and the lady's always talking trash to me. So one day I went there, and again they were closed or whatever. So I had to rush all the way up the highway, 4 or 5 miles to the next location. So when I think of that place, I think of the bullshit that place puts me through. So even though it was a different location with different people in the building, I still had the same mentality. Here's more bullshit. I got to get to work. I don't got no time for no bullshit. So when I walked in, I still had my hat on. And just subconsciously, I was ready for another fight. Different location, but same company. And I just figured dealing with more people that are going to want to start some shit. So I walked in, and the first thing the woman did is she looked at the name. So I'm assuming those other people probably said, okay, the location he normally comes to is closed today. So he may come up there with y'all. Don't fuck with him. Because they know I've reported these people. I go back and forth with these people. So I'm mad that I had to come all the way up there. It's always some bullshit with that other location. I'm trying to get to work on time. So she looked at the name and immediately she did her job. Immediately. So once I saw she did her job, then I took the hat off. And then she got me in there and got me out of there. And I said thank you, goodbye to her. And then I also said thank you and goodbye to the woman who was sitting at the door. That was kind of like the greeter. And I went on my way. And I did get to work on time that day. So it just shows you how different things can be when people do what they're supposed to, as opposed to being assholes. So they say you have a persuasive and magnetic personality. And they say so you should find yourself in areas where persuasion works. But I don't know if you like that. I think you're the desperado. I think you want the family environment. But that's totally up to you. But you could do really good in area where persuasion is good and talking and stuff like that. But I really think you want some type of family, feeling, love, or whatever. They also say you want to benefit mankind. Well, one said career. It's kind of funny. The first one said career, but underneath career they said occupation. Let's look that up, people. Let's look that up, because that's bugging the fuck out of me. I'm sorry. Excuse the vulgarity, but it has Gary, and that's my name. TheFreeDictionary.com, the definition of career, ladies and gentlemen. Can I get it into English?
Career.
That's not English, lady. That's American. This is English.
Career.
Career. A chosen pursuit, a profession or occupation. Interesting. So I think I've already proved my point. There is no freaking difference. But in astrology, though, your sixth house is daily activity. It could be your job, but it could also be daily activity. And in your 10th house is your career. But sometimes your 6th house is another part of your 10th house. It just depends. All right. Occupation. Your desire for benefiting mankind and alleviating suffering will find ample scope in the medical profession or in nursing, if you're a woman. Well, guys can be nurses too. You chauvinist. In either of these, you would be able to live up to your ambitions and do really good and useful work in the world. So you could be a nurse, medical profession. You could take care of the elderly, teacher. Could be a manager or supervisor of a large staff. Or good. They said, or go somewhere and earn a good living. So they say you would do really good with literary, which is a lot of Sagittarius and probably Mercury. Artistic is definitely Mercury and Gemini. Maybe even Leo. Maybe even Scorpio. Then they're telling you could be an author. I don't know if you're interested, but it's a lot of stuff you could do online. They're saying you could be an excellent actor for TV or films. And they say if you did become an actor in TV or films, that you would use your money to further some humanitarian work. So they're telling you about finances because you asked about finances. They say you have nothing to fear. Great opportunities will come across your path. They said out of nothing you could create much. They don't even know your natal chart, but again, that's what I told you about that whole Sagittarius energy, or that 0.1 or that 1 degree. So they say what you might make a mistake of you may fall to speculation and ruin everything. But again, that's like gossip. That's like, again, Gemini, Mercury energy. They said you will make money in odd and unusual ways. You will be lucky in making money and in the accumulation of possessions. That's because you got a Sagittarius Jupiter connection. They said especially with land. See, because you asked about Cancer, family, and all that's Cancer. And remember, Cancer is the fourth house is land and property. Houses are estate property, business. If you make up your mind to go in for. And I believe that's all I got. No, in for such things. Okay. All right, man. We're almost there. So they say you have courage. You're a born fighter. You are empowered with plenty of enterprise. All that will enable you to succeed in the end. They say, but because you're impulsive, you might have to actually suffer some losses. You're going to have to learn how to not be impulsive. So they're kind of advising you to learn how to stand. In other words, don't just make changes based on your feelings, because we've already shown you that because of the astrological stuff on your chart, it's just easy for you to want to change or want to move on, or you might have a female, but you just don't want to make that commitment just yet, and things like that. So you have to work on that. All right. So the jobs that you're going to be best at are any jobs where you actually listen, work with people, and help people improve their lives. Minister, psychologist, teacher, charity worker. Some life path 11s, believe it or not, Michael Jordan, Bill Clinton, Prince Williams, David Beckman, Ronald Reagan, Wolfgang, Amadeus Mozart, and Harry Houdini. You're very intuitive, very sensitive. Again, that goes back to intuition. Sensitive would be water. Sensitive, like the infat, that's Pisces, Neptune energy. So you're a healer. Because they're trying to advise you to try to find jobs like that, because that's essentially who you are. So now they're saying don't be so spiritual that you miss the point. I know a guy like that. He's so spiritual that he misses God. In other words, he's more spiritual than God. And a lot of these churches, if Jesus Christ came back, they would kick Jesus Christ out the church, even though it's a Christian church. So they say you don't have to go on artist journeys for self-discovery, because they say you really don't need a journey anyway. So sometimes you could break relationships being too spiritual. Or you might have a female that really would make a good mate for you, but you're putting her on some crazy pedestal that doesn't exist from trying to be super spiritual or high spiritual. So you just want to make sure you're not in any form of denial, self-denial, and you want to deal with reality. Now you're also on life path number 2, which is the life path number 11 is the healer. The healer is life path number 11. Life path number 2 is the diplomat. The diplomat wants to build. He wants to nurture. He wants relationships. So he brings unity and compassion in the world, has a big heart, and he brings out the good in people and himself and in other people. This person can be affectionate and considerate. He could be a good mediator. He can see both sides of an argument or both sides of a situation. But you do become decisive when you're involved. That's why they tell people sometimes you're too close to this. You have to step away. You're too close. There's no way you can look at this indecisively. So still, a career for a life path 2 allows you to serve others in your society. A diplomat, president, ambassador. But make no mistake, even as a social worker or babysitter, you can still make an impact with your strong, nurturing influence. Some people who had life path 2 are Barack Obama, Tony Blair, Jennifer Aniston, Amelia Earhart, Meg Ryan, Jennifer Lopez, Jackie Kennedy. But as a life path number 2, you might get upset because you might be giving, and you realize that these people ain't trying to get back. Alright, so that's all the numerology involved. Now, okay, yeah, we got one more thing. People born on your date, when you were born. Every planet has different frequencies and take more or less time to revolve around the sun. Sun is the most powerful among all powers, hence being sun on a fixed location. So they're taking the day you were born and they're going by the sun, because they said unlike the rest of the planets that are moving all over, the sun is a little bit more fixated. So they say that you are generous by nature, but you're also overly anxious about money matters. And if you notice, a few people have said that, and that was one of your questions. And that his question wasn't just money; it was like how much and stuff like that. So you can see that it's true. There is a possibility that you may be worried about your future life due to some unexpected reasons. This state of mind may arrive due to your disliking. You also possess curious mentality. So they really getting at your, remember, this is like a Hindu writer, so that's why it's written a certain way. But they're basically saying because you worry about it so much, you actually bring it about. And then they start to question how your mind works. They say you have the capacity of natural understanding. And it's an inherited quality. So they say you can naturally understand what other people have to read books to understand. So they say you naturally can absorb this knowledge, even though other people got to read it in a book to understand it. They say you like to read. They said you like history, country, again, that's Sagittarius, travel, any subject related to research, which is kind of like Scorpio, but also Sagittarius, or scientific subjects. They said you're either going to be a great success or a great failure, and that's going to depend on your deeds. But again, that's why I said if there's anything you need to address it. Don't be in denial, and don't think somehow you could talk it like it doesn't exist or it didn't happen. So they say you have strong sides and weak sides. They say that if you develop your strong points of character, you will flourish, your life, and your career. You possess intellectual gifts, great adaptability. You have a great understanding of things in general. You're ingenious and inventive. Again, Mercury, Gemini energies. And they say you can be very humorous and witty. Again, Gemini, Mercury energies. You are an outspoken person. You will be good at giving lectures, or you are good at giving lectures. They say you should be able to earn a lot of money, so there's nothing to be worried about concerning finances. You have great inventive power. If you develop the bright side of your character, you may possess the sharp, intuitive perception of people and things and methods of acquiring a vast store of knowledge. But sometimes you're going to doubt and you're going to question yourself. Once again, this is Mercury. This is Gemini. This is probably Scorpio and any watery emotion. Pisces, Cancer. So they say you're going to have a trouble sticking to things. Again, Gemini energy, giving up, losing interest. So they say even if you acquire a lot, you may lose it due to some misfortune. You may be inclined to self-indulgence. So they say people, you better write this down. People who were born on the month of November or the later part of December may not be supportive or friendly to you. It says, so stay away from these people because they may mess all your works and your actions up. That's deep. People born in November or the later part of December. But the people who were born in March and the early part of April will be very supportive and friendly towards you. You may get few colleagues who are very supportive of you. Your life partner will be your most close, dear, and nearest friend. You can share everything with her. As you love the outdoor life, the number of your friends are really huge. Your boss may be more or less favorable to you. After school, those school friends may no longer be in your life. But the friends from college, so when they said school, they weren't talking about college. Now they're talking about college. The friends from your college may be with you up to the first part of your last phase of life. But the number of friends are really rare. So they say you may have a nervous problem that may be a health problem for you. You may suffer from diabetes the middle part of your life. You may also be affected from various parts of genetic problems. So they're telling you to exercise regularly, take a long time morning walk. You have to have a balanced diet throughout your life. Stay away from any type of drinks, cigarettes, any narcotic elements, because they will be the cause of the lung problems. So that's somebody else that said lung problems for you. You may suffer from fever, cold during your childhood. In your advanced years, you might suffer from high blood pressure. So they're telling you that you have to learn how to control your mental anxiety and worrying and tension, because it's going to harm your health. Violet is the color favorable for those who are related to any kind of administrative section. MAUVE is favorable color for the student. So, if you want to make your fortune and fate more promising and prominent, dress in all different shades of blue, from the lightest to the darkest. Purple is favorable color for engineers. For interview, they say dress in the color crimson. The color crimson may bring fortune or favor to you or luck to you during those interviews. Finance. You may be able to earn a huge amount of money, but you'll have trouble saving it. You may not die rich. Money seems to melt in your hands, and you rarely, if ever, make provisions for your advanced years. You are advised to change your nature and save money for the future, because you may face some difficulties regarding your financial condition during the advanced period of your life. And it may happen because in your old age, you may have to suffer from some expensive disease, or may have to take some surgical operations, which are very costly. As your business luck is favorable, you may gain a considerable amount of money from it, but you are also advised to think twice to take an expert decision before taking any serious decision regarding your business. The persons who are related to their self-financed organization or projects may be able to flourish their organization or projects with the help of their money, which may come their respective fields of working. Next is career. You may start your career with the help of any self-financed organization, as well as any projects related to business. The career of the student may move smoothly with the help of their considerable talent and their attention towards their respective studies. But the student of the board examination are advised to give their rap attention towards their proposed lesson to make a brilliant result. You may also get involved with the field of machinery equipment. Administrative section is also favorable for you. You also attach with airlines and aircrafts. But you are advised not to take part in the field related to literature because through this you may not be able to flourish your career. All right. So now these are the questions you asked. You asked about your soul life purpose. So we did go over that. But now let's look at your natal chart. To know your life purpose, why you're here, is called your true north node. And there you see it at 7 degrees in Capricorn. So now we really have to look at this. See, you even got an anaretic degree of Sagittarius in your 4th house. So we got to look at that too. See, I told you got like the 6-9. Because that's the sign of Cancer. It's 6-9. And it's funny, you would think it would be 4-9 since Cancer is the 4th house, but it's not a 6-9. I guess because of the number of love. So you got a 4th house, 9th house, and number 6-9 for love. And you got Venus for love. So your true north node is 7 degrees, but that is the Chariot card, and that's Cancer energy. Now, your 5th house ruled by Leo, but for whatever reason they put Capricorn in there. A lot of times when you see that, it's because in a past life, like you may have had an ego. And they did say that about freedom, and they kind of did say that. So this is so now they're making you deal with it in your true north node, and that's why I see Sagittarius. You also wanted a lot of freedom in your past life, and that's why Sagittarius is right there in your 4th house with the karmic degree or anaretic degree. And it's leading right into the 5th house. Excuse me. So if you feel stifled, or if you have felt stifled in your life, that's the reason why. Because the universe is kind of putting a curb on just doing things your way. What the universe is trying to do is make you see the bigger picture. And that's why your chariot is Cancer energy. Because that's really what you asked about. You didn't ask about fun. You asked about family and stuff like that. So they're kind of telling you that's how it should be. Because your North Node had Capricorn, but it is unique. It's not just Capricorn. You got to really look at everything there. But when you go across, your opposite is Aquarius, the 11th house, ruled by Aquarius, and the Capricorn, the Cancer's there, which is family, teenage, education, land and property, real estate, ancestors, the heart, travel. So they're saying in your past life, you were more Aquarian, Cancer, family, friends, association groups. But now in this life, they do want you to be a little bit more career, reputation conscious, but not fully, because they still put Neptune there and Uranus. Now, I always have to explain it. Capricorn represents communism with the wall. Uranus represents the attempts by the capitalistic nations to overthrow that wall. And they do it. I'm sorry. They do it. They overthrow the wall. Neptune is the McDonald's in Russia, which never would have happened under communism, because McDonald's back then represented capitalism, the good old American way. So in your fifth house, that's what you have. You have somebody telling you to be more career minded and worry about your reputation a little bit, but not so much that you forget the watery stuff. Because 18 degrees is water, the moon. Neptune is water, it rules Pisces. 7 degrees is the chariot card, which is Cancer. So, looking at those two houses, your 5th house and your 11th house, your 11th house represents your past life. Friends, association, group, family. But it doesn't have any stability or a monetary energy. But the 5th house kind of addresses it. And with Capricorn, it is going to have some type of a business to it. It's still fun, but business minded fun. Now, your 4th house is Cancer energy too, but they put Sagittarius there. So the 4th house is education, but this will be higher education. This will be in laws. This might be foreign speaking relatives and or in laws. It might even have to do with foreign land, foreign property, or at best, inside the house, you're going to see some foreign stuff. Now, when you see Palace, that is like that's the soulmate trying to help get some maturity. So it's using family for a purpose. Like the questions you ask, family, because you basically ask about family And you did ask about finances too. And that's what you see on your chart. At least where these areas I'm at. Because to me, based on the questions you ask, that's your ideal setting. You want some type of career where you're not too far from family. So now, we're going to do the anaretic degree. And just so everybody knows, we're almost out of here. Give me a moment. And again, it's karmic degree. 29 degrees is the anaretic or karmic degree. And you see Pallas, because Pallas is soulmate. It's usually the more mature soulmate that's trying to help you. Because usually whenever you hear karmic, whatever, your karmic number or karmic degree, it usually does have something to do with your twin soul, usually, or your soulmate. Twin soul, same soul, different body. It's the same thing as a twin flame. A soulmate is anybody in your soul family, but it's usually somebody that you have some type of connection with, a stronger connection. And a lot of people don't understand. A lot of times this is energy. Like third dimension is a matrix. So really your soulmate or your twin soul is never really separated from you. Although you in the body y'all might be separated, but they're still helping you. This is all energy. Spirit is energy. And that's why people don't understand it, because they're like, oh, I hear all these natal charts about twin flames and twin souls, but how come these people are never together? And the answer to that is because you're viewing it from a third dimensional perspective. But you're all everything is positive, negative, masculine, feminine, yin and yang, and they're never outside of third dimension. They're never separated. You're never separated from yourself. That's just stupid. How could you be you if you're separated from yourself? That's just stupid. But in third dimension, you want a body, you want to touch somebody, you want to feel somebody. So that's all most people know. Oh, my twin is not. But that's why your natal chart is always. If you really study your natal chart, it's always duality. Whether you get with your twin flame or not, still duality. And when you realize that you can move forward with power and not always worrying about where somebody is at. So your anaretic degree is getting you ready from your fourth house to your fifth house, because your fifth house is karmic. That's why you have the number 17 there. No, that is the Saturn number, but 17 is also the star card, which is Aquarius, and then right across, opposite is Aquarius again. And Aquarius energy is your vertex at 20 degrees, and your Venus is at 20 degrees. So you're going to have some type of connection with a person that has Aquarius energy, like significant Aquarius energy, whether that be your soulmate or your twin soul. But that's your possibilities. So that's why when you hear me say all these signs, that's why if you write them down, so when you come across these people, you'll know. So there's a situation with what is the Sagittarius sign, which we've been saying all night. So it's 29 degrees Sagittarius, denotes the end of a spiritual cycle. This denotes that some old belief system or philosophy that you believed or were using at that 29 karmic degree, you are going to stop using it. You may also take a far from home pilgrimage, or you might take a self-seeking journey that ends, though. And this is going to inspire internal change and self-betterment. But whatever happens there, it is related to the fourth house of Cancer and Sagittarius energy. So again, your purpose in life purpose. We gave you a whole lot of it based on numerology. If you were taking notes, you'll know what it is. But also on your natal chart, it is bringing some type of Capricornian energy into fun. And it seems like you'll be using it to spend time with your family and stuff like that too. And if you notice the number 22 is there, that is like a twin flame number. And also you can go back to your medium coeli, because your medium coeli is also part of your true north node. And then you have Gemini. So once again, you see the Capricorn Cancer connection. Gemini is communications. And remember, both Leo and Gemini are the most creative signs on a natal chart. And you're dealing with your third house and your fifth house. And when you go to your third house that's ruled by Gemini, you see Scorpio there with Pluto retrograde and the number 22 again. And Pluto is transformation. And at 22 degrees, it's telling you that something has to be devastatingly taken away in order for you to move on. So it's great transformation. Again, at 22 degrees. And 22 is usually the twin flame number. So you would just have to ask yourself, you will look at it two different ways, because I gave you a lot of life path and stuff like that. That number gave you a lot of routes as far as your purpose in life. But then right here on your thing, you see, and because it's your life, you may understand it better than me. But even anaretic degree is really 11. It's 29, but it's still 11. But you're still seeing that whole Cancer, Sagittarius theme. And when you see your third house, it's still giving you the typical Gemini Mercury theme. And that takes you back to your eighth house with your moon sign. And you asked about family, I believe. And that is because that Cancer energy is family. Now, so if you want to get into career and finances, well, we already did your 10th house. We also did Capricorn, which is career and finance, career and reputation. You can look at your 2nd house, and again, see, that's the scary part, because you keep seeing Libra and Sagittarius, and that could be relationship, but that could also be law. So you have to be very careful who you believe and what you get involved with. You see, your 2nd house is also a money house because you're asking about money, but you got Libra there. So that's a relationship you're going to be in, or a business partnership, but that could also be law and justice, and that's the scary part. So now you have to go to your 7th house to try to understand your 2nd house. And then you see it. Now you see Juno, which will be, you'll find yourself in a serious relationship with either Pisces energy or Libra energy. And because your sun is at 15 degrees, it could be Capricorn energy as well. Because that's what it looks like. Because you got Capricorn with your true north node. And that would probably be your twin flame or your relationship. But she's also like Sagittarius. And sometimes on natal charts, it could be 2 different people, but they still are going to be working with Sagittarius or Capricorn energy. And that's why it's real difficult. But if you had the natal charts, it wouldn't be as difficult because you could see it. If you don't see it, it just sounds like I'm blowing smoke up here. But I'm not. Just like if you listen to a tarot card reader, they'll go, oh, it could be a air sign. It could be a Gemini or a Libra. Or it could be a Cancer. And you say, oh, well, which one is it? Stop the bullshit. You know, because I got a female friend that said that. She said, I want to learn tarot cards real good, so I'll be able to give specifics, because that's not specific. But it is kind of specific. It's just that you got to know the people that you're around. And sometimes that's not easy to do, but sometimes it is. And sometimes, like I said, when you really believe in this, you stop nickel and diming. Because a lot of people nickel and dime. If you want to know, just come back and ask the question. You don't even have to come to me. Come to somebody else. Like you say, oh, it's somebody. What water sign are they talking about? And maybe you get a better or whatever. Oh, which one is it? Is it Sally or is it Mabel? Which one is a water sign? And hopefully the card reader can tell you which one. Like even if you were going to church, you would have to learn how to walk in spirit, because God's not always going to make it so plain that you know. Sometimes you have to just put trust in spirit. And the reason why it becomes difficult, because you do what they tell you not to. They tell you don't worry, but you start to worry. And then by starting to worry, you start closing doors by you worrying. Because even Jesus said, listen, I can't help you because you don't believe. You don't have no faith. They said he went to one city and the people were so pragmatic that he couldn't do no healing. And this is supposed to be God in the flesh, or this is the Son of God, and he couldn't heal in certain areas because the people were too earthy. They were too pragmatic. They were too pessimistic. They didn't want to put no faith. So your Juno is at 16 degrees, and that means you're going to have a tower effect. But it's the same thing you see at Pluto retrograde in your 3rd house. It's going to be some type of taking away before it can grow. Now, if you notice, your Pluto got 56 degrees, I believe, and the Juno has 53 degrees. So those higher 50s are like the 2 people coming together, but they're only going to come together after this tower-like effect or Pluto effect. Now, if you still haven't noticed it, now look at your vertex and your Venus. Guess what? They're both at 20 degrees. Well, 20 degrees is the judgment card, and that's Pluto energy or Archangel Gabriel. So if you know how to read this, you see the consistency. But it's almost like telling you it's going to almost be somewhat of a dramatic effect before you and your lover can get on the same page. But that's how Aries. Remember, Mars rules Aries, and Mars is that number 16 degree. But it may have been some fighting with each other, pushing each other away. And I hate to tell you this, but again, a lot of that stuff is energy. Sometimes you're pushing your twin away just with your own energy. I remember I was getting all this information. My twin wants to reconnect, and basically I was told all I have to do is ask for it, and I kind of believe it because when I work with her, that's what I would do, and she would pop up, or they would bring her to me, or I would go to her, or I would be walking and she pop, shit like that. So this is a lot of this is energy. So I think one of your problems might be is you want to see it, like you want it to be solidified, and it's not going to happen that way. You have to learn how to, you got to do two things. If there's anything you need to come clean with, you got to come clean with it. Otherwise, the universe ain't going to really help you. And then second, you got to learn how to, like they say, you got a lot of Gemini. You got the magician, the number 1 degree in your moon. You could talk a lot of this stuff into reality if you believe it. All I can do is show it to you on your chart. But then you got to take your chart and you got to apply it. So when you talk about, you asked about your family, well, I mean the family you would have. Again, it's going to start with that Juno and Pisces energy. Possibly Libra energy. And then you got your Mars and Aquarius. Because believe it or not, Mars and Aquarius is also feminine. And then you got the 12 degrees again. So that's that Neptune, Pisces energy. 13 is the Scorpio energy, the destroyer energy. Death, but then is reborn. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. So again, 7th house, 6th house. Seems like your 5th house is more karmic. Third house is more transforming. And your third house and your 10th house are connected through water signs, 12 degrees. Neptune is watery with Pisces. But third house and 10th house are connected. And then the ruler of your 10th house is Capricorn in your 5th house, but that's more karmic. Third house more transforming. Your 6th house has Saturn there. It's going to be more karmic, but also has Mars. So the implication seems to be like you and your twin or your other half are going to be going through some type of transformative, maybe highly intense, but it leads to some type of separation, but eventually comes back. And then your family is affected as well with the Aquarius. But again, that could be family you were born into or the family you had with this person, your other half or your twin soul. And then in your first house, you still see Jupiter, so you know you're still dealing with Sagittarius. But you got Virgo there, so it's probably some type of healing. But your first house is more about healing. And it's still 14 degrees, which is temperance, and that's still going to be Sagittarius energy. And even your good fortune is at 0 degree, but it's still a Libra. So to me, it's a lot of transformation with this person. Maybe you know who they are, maybe not. Like your first question, you want to know more about your soul and life purpose. So we definitely hit that. We definitely hit that. And I believe we hit your soul urge number. So give me a moment. Give me a moment. I'll be right with you. Okay, so your heart's desire, and that's your soul urge number. And they said counselor and nurturer. And it's the number 6. Family, loved ones, those close to you. So that one I know we pretty much covered. Soul, life, purpose. And like once you have an idea of what it is, it's up to you to kind of like make it happen. Like what it is, the universe kind of tells you where to position yourself, and then the more you obey the universe, the more these things start to happen. Now, when we say Sagittarius in the 4th house, So basically, just saying Sagittarius, your home is the world, or a large house. You will walk in, a person might have maps up in the house and things like that. You feel the world is your home wherever you go. And they say this is like the Sagittarian might be self-centered. So this is a Sagittarian now. He's learning how to work with people and calling people his family, and so the because they say the Sagittarian can sometimes be somewhat selfish. And they say like the Sagittarian will learn how to feel in the fourth house, because otherwise the Sagittarian would just intellectualize stuff. So they're also implying that, because I don't know what your relationship with your family is, but even by you stepping deeper into your whatever your career might be, you would have the finances to address things that maybe weren't addressed before due to not having the finances. And the family that you'll create through the union, but it just seems like you and her are gonna have like it's bumpy, but it's bumpy because of the transformation. Like I did the numerology, everything is bumpy through transformation. And I'm saying, and what I'm trying to say to you is, you are dealing with past life. That's why they gave you the karmic number they gave you. And what happens, that's why I said, for a lot of people, sometimes it's hard for them to understand, because they go, oh, I want this, I want that. What about that? But they're not looking at the fact of what's really going on. You got past like karma to deal with. You got a lot of stuff to deal with. So that's why I said, and I think they did warn you about be careful of fantasy, because when you got sun sign in Pisces, that means your ruler is Neptune, and Neptune is a deceiver. And what those type of people do, they try to gloss over the truth, what they want it to be. Like recently you saw Hebrew Israelites get into it. I think that was a Lincoln Memorial. I think that where that took place, and that whole situation almost blew up. If it hadn't been for the Native Americans that got in between the Hebrew Israelites and that gang of non-black people, it could have got ugly. And what people have to understand, they'll say, what the Israelites was talking crazy and stuff like that. And I don't condone it, but unfortunately, they do have a freedom of speech. And what I'm trying to tell you is, our people have been lynch mobbed by savages like that our whole life. So anytime I see any white people grouping together towards some black people, the first thing I'm going to remember is what I saw as a little kid watching the Ebony magazine, where you saw these damn devils killing these black people, beating them to pulps and hanging them up, and they're smiling and taking pictures around the corpses of people they just murdered. And it's little kids, they're little white kids watching that, and nobody, no police officers, nobody stopping that. Now, how can you justify that? How can you justify? So I can't justify that. So if they are getting cursed out, whether it was your ancestors that did it or whoever, if you are getting cursed out, it's like a woman that's being raped. How would you expect her to act? She's just been brutally raped. How would you expect that woman to act? So we can try to minimize it or whatever, but the fact of the matter is, times have changed, and there is going to be a judgment call. You can't get past that. You can try to get past it. You can keep blaming the Hebrew Israelites or whoever you're trying to blame, but you can't get past what's about to happen to you for whatever you did, the tragedies and things you did, your ancestors, whoever you want to say it. And if you go to Matthew chapter 23, you hear Jesus Christ cursing these religious leaders. And this is what Jesus Christ said. He said, you're saying that you wouldn't do what your forefathers did. You're saying that your forefathers killed the prophets and savagely destroyed these people. You're saying that you wouldn't do it. But in saying that, you are confessing that you're the same bloodline that did it. He said, so you go ahead and continue to kill the rest of these prophets. And you go ahead and kill me too, like you did the rest of the prophets. He said, you might as well go ahead and do it because it's all being added up against you. He says, so you might as well make it full. So I hear a lot of liars that manipulate the scriptures, but they're not going to get away with it. And you see Messiah saying the same thing. You're no different than your forefathers. And the fact that they began to become a gang and they were beginning to circle those Hebrews, it proves my point. So that's like it's like an abusive person. This is, oh, we're not abusive. Oh, the only reason why we're getting closer to you is because you keep mouthing off. Oh, the only reason why we're getting ready to gang you and kill you like our forefathers did, your forefathers, is because you kept running your mouth. If you hadn't ran your mouth, I wouldn't have became this violent person that I normally am. They started taking off their shirts, started doing the whole caveman thing. Plus, metaphysically, you saw the moon out there the whole time. If you notice, the moon didn't move. Because if you ask me, it was the moon that protected those people that day. Because you're about to witness what we saw in the 1960s from these savages. The same type of behavior. But we're supposed to go, oh, well, it was the Hebrews' fault. It's like when somebody beat the hell out of, oh, you made me beat your ass. You made me rape you. You shouldn't have had that on. If you weren't wearing that, I wouldn't have raped you. No, you're a damn savage. Other people saw the same thing and didn't rape. You're a fucking savage. So don't try to justify that shit by what the Hebrew Israelites were saying. That doesn't justify mob activity. Oh, I'm hungry, so let's get a mob activity and break in this store and steal. Because I'm hungry. Doesn't justify it. It's still robbery. It's still brutal robbery. So I did the numerology to go through the family. I did your natal chart to go through the family. But what happens is collectively, the more you bring yourself into what you heard today, because that's what the universe is saying. Whatever you heard me do is what the universe is saying as far as your numbers and whatever you're working on, your karmic debt. Now, as far as career, we definitely went over that. We definitely did that. And financial info. And basically they told, well, let's do your finance. Because I did your love points. We did Venus. We did Juno. We did the vertex cross. We gave you all the signs associated with it. We did your Libra. We did your 7th house. So that would be anything having to do with relationship or love. But now finances. Okay, now your Juno, your Jupiter, but it's at 8. So again, so now you're seeing 8, which could be finances. It can also be karma, but it's connected to Virgo. And not only is it connected to Virgo, it's connected to 19 degrees, which is the sun. 14 degrees is the star, which is Sagittarius energy. 14 degrees is Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy. 19 degrees is the sun. So we will quickly go to your 6th house. And you see Aquarius again. So your Jupiter or money is connected to your 6th house, Virgo, and everything going on there. And then you see, again, your soulmate, a twin soul, Venus, vertex, cross. So your money's going to be connected to that. And you keep seeing the number 8, which is karmic. The number 17 is karmic, because 17 is 8. And you see Saturn at 13 degrees, which again is the death card, or something has to go down before it's going to come up. So that's why you don't want to play games with your... If you have somebody, you want to try to find out if that's your twin soul. You want to find out who that person is. Is it your soulmate or your twin soul? Because the faster you get that relationship revived from the dead, the faster you're going to see finances. Because when you go to your money house number 2, Libra again, goes to your 7th house, Pisces, Juno. So you really have to have a relationship with this person before you're going to see finances. And then you see anaretic degree Sagittarius, leading you to the 5th house. And the 5th house can be about dating as well, or your lover again. You see the true north node. And Venus can be money too. So that's why I say on your chart, that's what I see more than anything, is the need of you to go through this death-like state with your other half, but it has to resurrect. And when it does resurrect, things like finances will be a little bit better. But as of right now, I don't see like an abundance. Because almost everywhere I see anything that would look like hope, it has a retrograde. Or you got Venus, but then you got 20 degrees, which is judgment or Pluto energy. And then you got Saturn, which is karmic. And you got 13 degrees, which is death again. But it's death, but it'll also be resurrection. So it's not like I don't see anything. I don't see anything on your chart that's like booming. But according to your numerology, it's possible. But you have to stop. You can't worry, because your worrying is going to diminish it. And it's just like, to me, it's just like you have a lot of karmic debt to address with all these 17 degrees, Saturn 13 degrees, and Pluto retrograde. So you have a lot of karmic and past life stuff to address. And they all implied that in a past life you were somewhat out for yourself. So they need you to address that now. So that's why I spent all that time doing that before I went into the chart. I say that for the last. And it would have to resonate with you. But like I said, I don't know. It could have been me, but it just seemed like everything I read, it was like you almost saying like, no, that's not, I don't know what that's about. But now you're seeing it again. And this time I did numerology first and they said it. So you might be in denial. I don't know. Only you would know this. But that's the information I got. And that's, for me, it's 2 times in a row. So that would be the main thing. Find out what this karma is. Deal with it. If you do know who this person is, your other half, you got to relate to that a better. And then once you do that, maybe you'll get a better understanding on these things. So that's as far as I can go. And again, for everybody else, remember, you can check me out in the description box. Make sure you had the most recent services offered and price list. Remember, I do anything that has to do with knowing what's going on in your life, predictive astrology, anything. Some people ask me questions about the planets. Some people ask me about orbs, anything supernatural. I do as well. Relationships, on and on and on. So it's probably nothing that I don't do that's supernatural or paranormal. You just have to ask. And you can always get the services offered and price list. And like I'm still going to say it again. But if you don't see it on there, still ask because I'll probably still do it. Anything with research, I do as well. So that's that. This is Get. It's been a pleasure. God bless.